Everyone deserves a family.
I like my brother and love him and I love my sister.
But sometimes circumstances out of a child's control rip them from the ones they love.
He was always hurting my mom.
That's where Jacksonville's children can help.
When I was like 11, I think, or 10, I came to Jacksonville with my aunt, and then I'm staying.
Connecting young boys and girls with adoptive families for the care and support they need.
Well, I just need to go somewhere and stay put.
Family Support Services of Jacksonville is looking for loving forever homes for local children in foster care. CBS 47 presents Jacksonville's Children. Now CBS 47's Dawn Lopez.
Thanks for joining us. You're about to meet some precious children who have goals, aspirations, and they want to be someone special, but they need the family support to make that happen. And that support could come from someone like you. We are going to introduce you to more than a dozen children over the next half hour, kids who deserve a chance, and we'll also show you how you can help. Let's start out by meeting Zoe.
More flowery. Oh, that.
She loves pink, pretty dresses, and perfumes.
This one I like.
Zoe and I found we have lots in common.
How do you like that? Soft, huh?
We were invited to spend time at the Violet Boutique in 5 Points, where our tween got a chance to shop as many fragrances and lotions as she wished. This is a real treat for a girl with 3 brothers.
All my life, I had to play with my brothers, and that was fun.
Zoe is missing her brothers and best buds. They were all taken into protective custody because of abuse.
He was always hurting my mom.
The boys are all adopted. Now Zoe is hoping for the same. Through it all, Zoe is an amazing girl and resilient.
I lost my memory like when I was 8.
Healing from the past, she's been in foster care for almost 2 years now. She's hoping for a family where she'll have sisters that she can share secrets with, and fashion ideas, and music.
Taylor Swift or Katy Perry.
It's girl power at its best for this 12-year-old, healing and sharing. To get more information on Zoe or any of the kids that you've seen here, call Family Support Services. The number is 904-421-5839, and we'll share that number again in just a few minutes. Children are resilient, and this next pair of children, living proof. They've had to move on without their mother, who's unable to care for them.
I like going to theme parks, and I like shopping and getting my nails done.
I just think it's cool to build cars.
What is your dream car?
A Dodge.
Tavon wants to work on cars when he can't even drive one yet. And his big sister Passion loves school.
I have civics, science, algebra 1.
She's acing her honors classes. And one thing they both enjoy together, music.
You have to help her.
I asked them to sing me a little something. They just couldn't decide which song to sing. So we decided to break for a little sibling competition, a game of Connect 4 at Adventure Landing. Big Sister Passion lives up to her name. She plays with lots of passion. It's a joy to watch these two interact.
She's nice, but mostly she got to get rid of that attitude.
I had to break it to Tavon. That's just what big sisters do, give little brothers attitude. Just ask mine.
If I'm worried about something, she gonna be like, why you worried about something little?
Passion is trying to teach Tavon there are some things you just can't do anything about. The only thing you can control is you and how you respond to the hand you're dealt, like your mother having to give you up because she's sick and physically too weak to take care of you.
But then we came to a little group home called Children's Home Society. It's a really nice place. They take you like different activities and stuff.
Passion and Tavon are making the most of the year they've been in foster care. They get along well with others. They're smart, and most of all, they want to share their love for each other with a family willing to expand a little to make room for 2 more.
Okay, what about a rap song? But let you go. I could take you places you ain't never been before. Baby, take a chance. I got money in my hands that
Michelle Whiteside is here with us from Family Support Services. Thank you so much for being here, Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we've been working together trying to get children adopted for years now. We're going on 8 years at this point. Tell me about the need here in Jacksonville.
The need here in Jacksonville is primarily for sibling groups, and children over the age of 9 is primarily what we are recruiting for and looking for families for. Our kids do tend to be older. We do have a need for adoptive families for teenagers, and definitely folks that are able to accommodate sibling groups of at least 2 or more.
Because you do want to keep children together. A lot of times when they're pulled from a parent, the only family that they have left is one another.
Absolutely. When we have to remove children from biological parents because of abuse, abandonment, or neglect, we remove them as sibling groups. When we're looking to hopefully safely reunify those children with their parents, once it's safe to do so, we look to reunify them as a sibling group. So there should be no difference when we come to talk about adoption. If we're looking for an adoptive home, we should be looking for homes that can accommodate an entire sibling group for adoption. We know that our children do lean on each other. They have a commonality when it comes to their history and what they went through. And we also know that for most people, a sibling relationship is the longest relationship that they have in their lives. So we owe it to our children to find permanency for them where they can remain a sibling group and grow up together.
How has foster care changed over the years, especially with foster care redesign?
Foster care redesign here in Duval County has allowed us to take each case individually and make sure that if it's a situation where a child can safely remain in their biological home, if we implement and provide services, in-home services, regular services, anything that the family needs, that's our preference. We don't want to remove children from a biological home if we have the means to be able to keep them in the home and take our services to the family. So over the last couple of years, our rates with regards to how many children that actually do come out of biological homes and into the foster care system has been drastically reduced, meaning that the number of children that we eventually have available for adoption has decreased, which is a good thing because we are being able to keep those kids in their biological families, which is a wonderful outcome for them.
Well, there are lots of people who have stopped me over the years and said, you know, I would love to adopt, I just don't have the means to do it. I just don't have the money. But there is help.
Absolutely. To adopt from foster care is probably one of the least expensive means to adopt a child. We don't have restrictions with regards to income. We just want to make sure that the family's income, the way it is prior to adopting, is not going to be impacted by bringing a child into the home. We don't want to place a financial burden on families just by allowing them to adopt children. In the foster care system, there are classes that are required for families to complete that just gives them an introduction as to how our children come to be with us, some of the things that they can expect, and just different information about parenting and parenting children with special needs. Those classes are free of charge. The subsequent home study that the family undergoes is also free of charge. Basically about the only thing that the family would need to pay for are the background screens. When we get the home study completed, we're even able to cover a portion of the attorney's fees when it comes to an adoption finalization, and we can provide a list of attorneys that have agreed to take the amount of money that we're able to pay for them so that we don't even have to charge our families anything out of pocket with regards to the adoption finalization.
And then how do you meet a child and make sure that you're a good match?
We have all kinds of ways to introduce our kids to our prospective adoptive families. Like I said, our kids do tend to be older, so they're savvy. They know that they're available for adoption, and they know what our role is.
And here's that number again to get more information on any of the children that you see here. Call Family Support Services. The number 904-421-5839, and we'll share this number again in just a few minutes. When parents succumb to life's pressures and put their responsibilities for their children on the back burner, it's a slippery slope for all involved. That's Ariana's story. This 13-year-old is in a fight for her childhood.
My mom was on drugs, so it wasn't my mom that was doing that stuff. It was the drugs, and I know that.
What Ariana was exposed to for months, even years on end, is unconscionable.
We was taken when I was 5 and my sister Azalea was 6 months. So this has been on and off for years. This was the worst because the past she didn't leave me.
Left in a drug den with complete strangers, Ariana did the best she could trying to fend for and protect not only herself, but her younger brother and sister. This 13-year-old shared with me she would beg for rides, hunting down her mother in seedy, rundown hotels all over the city at all times of the day and night until she was exhausted.
Somebody called and the third time they called, which they reported I was sleeping on the porch again, the police came and they brought a DCF worker with them.
Ariana didn't hold back the good, the bad, or the horrific from her childhood so far on our Girls' Day Out. With all that she told me, I wanted her to have something that reminds her that she still has a childhood. At Adventure Landing, I had her handpick a stuffed animal to replace all of the others she's had to leave behind, moving from home to home over the years.
That's good.
It's time for Ariana to get her life back. Going back to a safe place in foster care is a good start.
I'm doing a lot better. My grades are good in school.
Ariana is ready for the best that life has to offer, something she's missed out on her whole life.
All I want is a family. That's it. Because my mom and dad split up when I was a baby, so I've never had a mom and a dad.
He's a teen who's had his share of stops around the country, and now Juan is looking to settle into a family setting.
Puerto Rico, New York, Alaska, then back to New York, then Chicago, then Ohio, Indiana, then Missouri, then Indiana back, then Florida, then Missouri back.
Geography will likely be one of Juan's best subjects. I say likely because at 17, he's only been in school a total of a year. And the reason, he was never able to lay down roots and go to school like other children.
We were in total 11. My father wasn't stable. I didn't want to see it no more, so it was too much already.
Too much moving, too much violence. Juan says his father would not only scream and threaten, he hit, and no one was exempt. Eventually, all of the children splintered off for help, Juan included.
It was really impressive. It was good. Meet friends.
While traveling, Juan ran and found help here in Jacksonville. He was taken into foster care.
What do the young people do here?
Juan is curious by nature, but when it comes to computers, he's fascinated. And we took him to a server farm, Peak Tea, for a tour. Just like his schoolwork, Juan is soaking it all up here. He's hoping once he graduates, his new journey will lead him to a solid career in IT. Right now, he's at a crossroads in life, leaving behind painful memories, but moving ahead. He says he misses the foundation of family.
Adoption is something really good because, you have somebody that support you.
In all of his 17 years, Juan has wanted unconditional love and stability, a love that doesn't lash out, but reaches out.
It really means that you got somebody that is close to you. And it's like a mom and dad that they always take care about you.
Well, now he's a local preteen who loves Legos, football, and sweets. But with your help, the sweet life for him would be adoption.
This is a waffle maker, so it's really, really hot.
How many kids would love to do this? Go behind the counter of the neighborhood Dunkin' Donuts and make their very own ooey gooey creations.
Got it? Can we help you?
Can I get a hug?
Yes, you can have a hug. Oh, man. It's also great to know this 12-year-old isn't afraid to ask for what he needs.
Everybody deserves a second chance, though, because you don't know if they can turn it around.
Aaron wants to be adopted. He feels just because his biological family fell apart shouldn't mean he has to grow up in foster care. He tells me it doesn't matter if he is a part of a one-parent household or two, other children or none, he just wants a family.
A lot of care.
Tell me what that means for you.
Like people that can love me and help me with my problems.
Aaron needs understanding parents who will listen to his struggles of abandonment, of a mom and a dad who have never been in his life.
That one? Peanut butter.
We have a Jacksonville's children's update now on a boy who made headlines a few years ago. His story played out like a horror story on the news. He was a child locked away. Very few even knew he existed. Well, now Matthew is learning all about the big world around him.
I just want to see who out here wants me, pretty much.
Matthew's words are plain and simple. He wants to be adopted, and we want it for him. Before I ever got the chance to meet Matthew, Action News was telling his story. Several years ago, he was a young child locked in a room here in Jacksonville. He wasn't allowed to go to school, never had been to the doctors for a checkup. His neighbors didn't even know he existed until someone finally got suspicious and called police. And it's a call that saved his life.
Yeah, he sure did. I'm glad I'm not in that hole I was in.
Matthew is now 13. I took him to lunch at City Kids Cafe in Springfield to catch up. That's where we got a tour of the Cornell University Food Lab, where students are learning to bottle different flavors for extracts.
Oh, so it's like a different one? I see.
Matthew is a sponge. He loves learning, especially since he was deprived of going to school until his rescue.
It smells like butterscotch.
It does. Right now, Matthew lives in a foster home. He's grateful to all of the people who have touched his life, but he's ready for the next phase now. He says it's been tough growing close to such good people and then having to let go.
Some of them had to move. Sometimes they wanted to quit foster care.
Matthew feels life didn't really start for him until he was 9 years old when he emerged from that locked room. Now he knows there's a big world out here, and foster care has been a safe haven. But he's ready to spread his wings and live life to the fullest. And it starts with a family that can help him look forward and not back and embrace all that life has to offer. Simply stated like only Matthew can.
Well, I just need to go somewhere and stay put.
Our next teen had a chance to do what many don't get to do, reconcile with her parent. But Emily still needs to be adopted tonight.
I went to a lot of elementary schools. I can't count how many middle schools, and I've been to 3 high schools this year.
Foster care has been a revolving door for 16-year-old Emily. The first time she was picked up and placed into protective care, she was only 8.
I remember a big guy picking me up from my elementary school and telling me something about 3 days until court. So you'll stay with these people for 3 days.